Bless the Lord, O my soul, blessed art thou, Lord.
One of the questions that a lot of Protestants have who are appearing to look at Orthodoxy for the first time is, well, where's the Bible in all this? Where is the Bible? If it isn't in the Bible, I'm not going to believe it. I want a Bible-based church, they say. Bible-based. To those people, I would offer the question, do you really believe that the scriptures dropped out of heaven? That God sort of threw the King James Version of the Bible down to our planet as His Word? Do you really believe that? Many people are not aware of the fact that when the bishops in Great Council came together to decide the canon of Scripture, there were differences in different parts of the church. The East did not have the book of Revelation, and the West didn't have the Gospel of John. But they had made an agreement that whatever had been taught everywhere and at all times would become part of the canon of Scripture. That would be how they would weigh the truth. So it wasn't about, is it in the Bible? Because the Bible was given to us by the church. The church didn't come out of the Bible. The Bible came out of the life of the church. Many people who attend the divine services in Orthodox churches, and certainly I've seen that here at our monastery, are amazed when they realize how much Scripture is involved in our services. It's almost entirely Scripture. And some of the prayers are by saints of the church from the 2nd and 3rd or even the 1st century. How is that? Is it any wonder that we Orthodox don't decide what we are going to believe according to our personal interpretation of the Bible? I had a young friend who was laying claim to be an authority on Scripture, and she had decided that I'm not going to go to this church, I'm dropping out because the pastor's teaching heresy. So she wrote a book about it. And I said, well, what was he teaching in heresy? And she told me. And I said, well, I hate to break this to you, but your belief is heretical. It's not taught by the early church at all. Oh, I'm right. This is it. This is the Holy Scriptures. This is the way it's supposed to be, she said. And I suggested that maybe she add to the first part of her name, rather than Ms., Pope, because she's acting as though she's a pope. And her decision about Scripture is the correct one, and everyone else is wrong. But this is one of the reasons why we have over 47,000 different denominations, all of them variations of Protestantism. And even the early Protestants were all over the map when it came to what they believed and what they taught. When Luther decided to break from Rome, he threw out a lot of the bathwater that was always taught by the universal church. And the little bit of dialogue that happened with some of his followers in the Orthodox Constantinople didn't go very far, because by then they were so completely convinced that everything they believed about the Bible was true. And then if you don't believe it, then we're not going to go in with you. And that's what happened. They went their own way, and pretty soon it's like Protestantism became like a rabbit, giving birth to a huge litter that kept growing and growing and growing, and even to this day is still growing, with ministers claiming to teach the truth, and that their denomination or their church, their mega church, is where it's all at. So it's important for us to remember that we don't come to God with truth. We come to God and join a family and discover the truth in our walk with Christ. Christ changes us. We don't come knowing everything. We usually come knowing nothing. And it's our relationship with Christ in the body of the church that truth comes to us and changes us and transforms us.
If you have found this content to be a blessing, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Both now and ever and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Only begotten Son and immortal Word,